Okay, Glenn, thank you so much for being here with us today. This is Glen Beck. He is the president of Beck Brothers Citrus, and he's the former president of Florida Citrus Mutual. So thanks so much, and really happy you're here. And we're here at the annual conference, which is always a lot of fun.
Yeah, great to be here.
Well, I want to talk a little bit. Tell me a little bit about the history of your family in the citrus industry.
So, well, as is the case with many families, if you want to go far enough back, I am fourth generation.
Oh, wow.
My great-great-grandfather started in 1887.
Oh my gosh.
In the Central Florida area. Started in Sumter County, was the 1894-95 freeze, froze them out, moved to South Orange County or Southwest Orange County, and we have been there in some capacity ever since.
Oh my, that's amazing. And that 94-95 freeze, 1894-95 freeze, that wiped out a lot of people. I mean, that decimated the industry. You talk about devastation, that was crazy.
It was. There were many people that had, put everything that they had into moving to Florida to start this, into the industry and this up and coming, and lost everything.
Right.
And many just abandoned their holdings, walked off, went back to whatever state it was they came from. So it was it was a time of turmoil for anyone in the business.
I know some of the newspaper articles talked about how you could just hear the branches just snapping, like a big boom, just breaking and blowing up because it was that bad.
Yeah.
Now, did your family, where did they originate from before they got to Florida?
So, so the story goes back to my great-great-grandfather, came from England. He was the second son in the family, so I'm not well versed with how the inheritance goes there, but evidently the inheritance goes to the first son.
Right.
He was the second, so he knew that there was nothing for him there. He got on a merchant ship, came to the U.S., and I assume came in through Ellis Island. Stayed in New York for a year or two, and then came to Sumter County and started farming from that point on.
Right. Okay, that's really interesting. So how were you introduced to the industry?
I was born into it.
Were you one of the guys that nickel a row that you had to hoe or that type of thing?
Oh yeah. Hey, I totally grew up in it. Have done, I believe, everything that there is to do in an orange grove.
Right.
I've sprayed, mowed, disc, hoed, banked, you name it, I've done it. And I won't say as a kid growing up that it was what I wanted to do. You always hear people talk about, say, well, I remember doing this. Well, no, it wasn't fun. Whenever you're a kid growing up, you would
in
like
the hot Florida summers, yeah.
Yeah, you would like to be with your friends doing something else. But
Right.
you know what? Hey, I look back on it now, and I cherish that time, and there were a lot of life lessons in that. It taught me how to work, how to sweat, and how to appreciate what you have.
That's absolutely true. So when you were growing up in it, you had a lot of different ways that they did things that have changed drastically. For instance, irrigation. Did you have to move pipes and that type of thing back when you were growing up?
We did. There was no such thing as microjet.
Right.
It was all high volume. It was either overhead or walking guns or sprinkler pipe, perforated pipe. And I grew up in that era that we did that, and would move it all night with headlights and headlamps, and so it really makes you appreciate the technology that has come along today.
Absolutely. Well, and with freezes, for instance, especially back in the 80s, when you were definitely would have been firing the groves during those freezes at that time, correct? Or was that already done by then?
No, we were still engaged in that at that time. We were still firing groves, and that was at the time period that oil prices hadn't gone too far out.
Right.
So it was still affordable, and it was still a standard practice for some. And so I remember many nights firing groves.
We've had a lot of people I mean, my brother did that when he got out of school, and you did that just to save the citrus trees, because everybody in Florida basically was in citrus at some way, shape, or form.
They were, and I remember even going back to high school that I remember announcements, on a possible freeze night. The announcements at the end of school that, anyone wanting to fire groves that night, contact so and so.
Right.
And it was an excused absence.
Absolutely, yeah.
The next day. And all of these things that have gone by the wayside that,
But that was a long haul night, though. I mean, that was not easy to do, as I remember my brother talking about it. So
No, it was not.
Yeah.
But it was something about it, though, that, the urgency of the situation, it kind of, I don't know whether
Exciting.
it fired the adrenaline or whatever,
Right.
but it gave you strength to go on.
Yeah, that's interesting. So going forward now, you are in Sumter County. Did that force you to move out of Sumter County into other areas, or where are you located now in terms of everything that you're doing with your citrus industry?
No, right now we're kind of based in southwest Orange County, which is where we've been for years.
Okay.
But a lot of urban growth in that area.
Oh, absolutely.
We are currently in Orange, Lake, Polk, Osceola, Hardy, Highlands, and DeSoto. I probably missed one in there.
That's covering quite a bit.
But we have had to just out of necessity. If we were going to grow, we could not do it where we were at.
Okay.
We had to branch out into other counties, into rural areas, because it just became so urbanized where we were at. The land prices, it was unattainable
To continue in citrus,
Yes.
you had to go into housing for
Yeah.
sure. So in terms of branching out like that, are you managing for other people as well as your own groves, or just yours?
No, we are. We do our own and others as well. Of course, the current situation of the industry right now, there's many have dropped out, and which it's sad to say, but we're currently about 4,000 acres, that being our own and what we caretake for others. But just a short time ago, we were almost 9,000.
Wow, that's crazy.
So, that's not exclusive to us.
It's industry-wide. You're
Yes,
right, yes.
it's industry-wide. Everyone has had probably the same scale of downsizing.
Well, so with the downsizing, it's made people have to do, like I said, a lot more with a lot less. So how have things changed for you in the way that you manage the caretaking of what you're doing now?
So, everything as far as obviously production is not what it once was. So, we are watching the inputs, and we're labor is always a constant issue.
Right.
So, our acreage has fallen, our labor supply has fallen. So, many of the things that I did years ago, I find myself doing again. And there was a period I started off in the field, and kind of when we got really busy, I would spend most of my time in the office or on the road. And now it's kind of gone full circle that I'm back in the field again. So,
well, with that said, are the trunk injections and the things that they have for HLB, are you finding that's working? Are you seeing a light at the end of the tunnel? Or how are you feeling about going forward?
Yeah, you know what, we are. Since this whole thing started, we're 18, 19 years now.
Right.
And it's been a continual downslide since we started. During that time, we have pretty much, used everything that came down the line. Any compound or, nutritional ramp up or different technique of fertilizer or irrigation or what, we have done it all. And, never really saw a whole lot of result out of it. We have seen more results from one OTC injection than we have all of that other combined.
That's amazing.
So, and we did the first year, and we have treated everything this year.
Mm-hmm.
But, and I know everyone is I think some people are expecting too much. You know, say, well, I did it, and I'm not seeing a whole lot of result. But you have to think it's taken us, you know, almost 2 decades to get to this point. You're
Right.
not going to turn it around
In one year.
year.
Absolutely.
So, from basing, on what we've seen so far, I think we're in the game. I think we can survive it. I think we can come back. I think we can be prosperous.
I totally agree. So I'm excited about the future. So,
Yes,
is there anything like? Do you have kids that are going into the industry or what?
I do. I'm 4th generation. There is a 5th generation waiting in the wings, and look forward to turning that over to them.
So, if you had one piece of advice to give them, what would that be?
Perseverance. You know, that I don't care if you're growing oranges or peaches or corn or cotton or whatever. Farming's tough,
Yeah.
and there's no guarantees. You're at the mercy of Mother Nature and the pests and the diseases and the markets, and it has to be a labor of love.
Right. Faith, family, farming, right?
Absolutely.
Well, thanks so much for being with us today, Glenn. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right.